Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanam Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Nami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shuddhivadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we will briefly discuss the previous and continue. So we are seeing that Brahmaji is creating. So Brahmaji's creation we are seeing. So he has created so many different different personalities have appeared from his body. Initially, he has created ignorance by which all the living entities are bound in this world. Then after that created he has created four Kumaras who are but he wanted them to uh, create progeny and increase the population, but they wanted to perform devotional service to the Lord, like they wanted to become they wanted to remain celibate. So that that time he tried to control his anger, but through his eyebrows, Rudra was born, and Rudra he tried to create population. So, but his population they were all increasing disturbance to the world. So therefore, Brahmaji ordered Rudra to perform austerity. So he went to forest to perform austerity. And then there are several great sages, 10 sons. They were born from Brahmaji, Narad Muni, Vashishta, like that. And Dharma was born from his chest, Adharma from his back, and various other religious activities are also appeared from his back. Kardama was born from his shadow, and he got attracted to walk and he was restrained. And then you have seen from his body, four Vedas have appeared, Upavedas have appeared, Panchama Veda, which is considered as Puranas and Itihasas, that has also appeared. That means even Bhagavatam, which is Purana, is on the level of Veda. So it is as authentic as Vedas. Then different how to perform yajna. So different various varieties of yajnas, the rules and regulations, all these came from Brahmaji's different mouths, and the different varnashrama dharmas they have appeared. All the duties of different varnas and ashramas have appeared, and arts, sciences, and hymns, different Upavedas, they all came from him. Vedic meters, how to like verse rating and all those things have come, and like audible sounds and inaudible sounds, and also the Omkara, and then Sarigama Padani Sada syllables, they also came. And Brahmaji, in this way, his body is composed of Vedas. Through his representation, he created so many varieties that all we see, so many things which we are able to experience. All these have come from his body. So he is empowered by the Supreme Lord. So through him, the Lord has created all these things. But still, the population is not as sufficiently increasing. So therefore, he thought that there is something how to rectify that situation. So he started thinking about the Supreme Lord. So that time from his body, Swayambhu, Manu and Satarupa, they have come. They are the original man and woman. So Manu is from where the Manu word man has come. And these two personalities have produced the main population in the first Manvantara. So through them, 5 children have born. Priyavrata and Tanvada are sons, Akuti, Devahuti and Pasuti are the daughters. So their dynasty is explained in next 2-3 cantos. So their marriages are described. We will see them in detail later. So when Manu was born from Brahmaji, he appeared Brahmaji, and what can I do? How can I please? What activities will please you? So like that, Manu has asked. So Vidura actually wanted to hear about Manu. So he requested Maitreya Muni to narrate about that. So Manu asked, what can I do? How can I please you? And what activity I can do so that I will be happy. I will get fame in this life and better destination in next life. So Brahmaji was very much pleased with Manu's questions. So therefore, he requested that I am very much pleased because you surrendered yourself to do what I want. So therefore, increase the population, beget children, and rule the earth religiously, dharmically, and engage everyone in worshipping the Lord through sacrifices. So these are the instructions that I gave. So if you worship, if you protect all the population, then you will please me and as well as the Lord. So if one doesn't please the Lord, then all his endeavors will be useless. So therefore, you try to produce children, populate the universe, and then rule them very dharmically and engage them in the service of the Lord. So Manu, he accepted that order, but he told that earth is not present. So please retrieve the earth. So Brahmaji, he thought that how to retrieve, like the earth got submerged in the Garbhodaka ocean. So it is very difficult task. So how he can do, he was contemplating. So he thought about the Supreme Lord. Whenever some difficult task is there, something is there, immediately great souls remember the Supreme Lord. So he remembered. So that time, one small from his nose, Brahmaji's nose, one small varaha, like a hog form has come, and it grew into the size of elephant. So Brahmaji and his sons, they thought, who is this person? Initially small size and immediately became very big. So so he is actually first incarnation of the Lord, Adi Avatar, Varaha incarnation. So he rode, and then he gave, like all these people, Jana, Tapa, and Satyaloka, they understood that he is the Lord and they glorified. And the Lord, he performed his activities of entering into the water by his roar. And he lifted his tail and he entered into that water, and he behaved like an hog, ordinary hog. Ordinary hog uses his smell sense to search for his food. So Varahadev, he used his nose to search for Mother Earth. So he, in this way, in that Garbhodaka ocean, he dived deep and searched the earth, and he lifted Mother Earth by keeping that earth on top of his tusks. So while lifting, one demon called Hiranyaksha, he has come and started fighting. So actually, in this narration, there are two incidents that are being narrated. one incident at the time of Swayambhu Manu, Varahadeva appeared and lifted. But later, in the later Manvantara, in Chakshusha Manvantara, Hiranyaksha was born, and that time also when Pralaya happened, that time also Varahadeva appeared and lifted. So because Varahadeva form is eternal, so it's like it's not that it's not now there. He is always residing in his eternal dham. So whenever there is some requirement, he will appear and do he will protect the devotees. So when sixth Manvantara also he appeared, so that time he fought with Hiranyaksha and he killed him. So both narrations Maitreya Muni has combined here. So when Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha, all the sages they glorified Varahadev. So Varahadev main glorification is he is the form of sacrifice. So all the yajna people perform in previous ages and current age, all the ingredients of yajna they have come from the Lord's Varahadev's body. He is always glorified as the yajna personified. From his different limbs, all the elements required for yajna they have appeared. So he is called as Yajna Murti. So that is also glorification of the Varahadev. So in this way they glorified Varahadev. And they also told that you are the Lord and earth is our mother. So you are like our Pita, you are our father, and earth is like our mother. So only you could do such a task as lifting earth. So and in this way, and the water that has come from Varadev's body, air course, that has fallen on us and it purified us. And your pastimes are unlimited. In this way, they glorified Varahadev. And in this way, Varahadev placed the earth on water and he returned. So in this way, whoever hears this pastime, he will be very, Lord will becomes very pleased. So in this way, again, he glorifies Harikatha. So in this way, Varahadev pastime has narrated. So after that Varahadev narration is narrated, Maitreya Muni, Vidura, he wanted to know more details. Like Vidura was very happy, and again he asked that. So we have heard that Hiranyaksha was killed by Varahadev, who is the form of sacrifice. Why there was a battle between this Hiranyaksha and Varahadev? So please narrate that. We am I faithful? Like that, Vidura has requested Maitreya Muni to narrate the pastime. So then Maitreya Muni, he was very much pleased, and your inquiry is very nice. I will, and because this narration, when one hear this subject matter, when one hear, then that person will be freed from the cycle of birth and death. So, and he gives a proof how by hearing or by performing bhakti, one can cross over this cycle of birth and death. So Dhruva Maharaj, the story of him which will come in fourth canto, he performed devotional service and became devotee. And at the end of his life, where he is about to go to Vaikuntha, so that time Mrityu has come. But Dhruva Maharaj, because he is a devotee, while climbing that airplane, he just kept his leg on top of Mrityu's head and boarded that airplane. So that means even Mrityu has become his servant. He utilized his Mrityu as his servant and boarded that airplane. So that is the example that Maitreya Muni quotes. So then Lord Brahma, he narrated this story. So I will narrate this story. So like that, he starts narrating one particular incident. So in order to narrate how Hiranyaksha, like how Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha, previous background, how Hiranyaksha was born, that needs to be narrated. So this previous narration of how Hiranyaksha was born, there are two incidents that are connected. So one is how Diti and Kashyapa, who are like father and mother of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, so they, in this chapter, he narrates how they are united in the wrong time. So therefore, two demons were born. So that is narrated in this chapter. And the next two chapters describe the previous background of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. who are actually none other than Jay and Vijay in Vaikuntha Loka, who are cursed by 4 Kumaras. So that those will be narrated in the next 2 chapters. So this chapter describes how Diti and Kashyapu Muni, they united in the wrong time. So therefore 2 demons were born. So that is narrated here. So one time Diti, she was Diti is the wife of Kashyapu Muni. So Kashyapu Muni, he was the son of Marichi. Marichi was the son of Brahmaji. So he was like Manasaputra, like born from Brahmaji's mind, Marichi. So Marichi has son, he is called Kashyapa Muni, and he had married around 13 daughters of Daksha. So one of the daughter is Diti, and another daughter is like Aditi and all others, who has basically Kashyap Muni is the main Prajapati who produced many living entities. So Diti is like gave birth to Daityas, who are like demons. So Daitya means one who are born from Diti. So that is the one of the meaning. So Diti at that time, she still doesn't have any children. So that time she approached Kashyapa Muni. She was afflicted with lust and started speaking to Kashyapa Muni. O sage, but the main point here is that she was approaching Kashyapa in the evening time, and evening time is not right time. So that time Kashyapa Muni was sitting in trance. He was meditating on he performed a sacrifice for the Lord, and he was meditating. At that time, Diti has approached him and started speaking that, "Oh Kashyapa, oh my Lord, oh learned sage, this lust has attacked me, and I am I am here." So actually, Diti could not grasp the attention of Kashyap Muni by seeing or by seeing or by any other sound. So therefore, she started speaking that lust is attacked me, and also one more reason she gives that all my co-wives like Aditi and others, they all had children, but I don't have any children. So therefore, you should award me children who will actually, generally, children are the one who spread the fame of their husbands throughout the world. And previously, my father asked me to choose whom to marry, but I have chosen you for marriage. So attracted by you. Therefore, you as an husband, you should fulfill my desires. So because I have approached in distress, and uh, like in this way, she approached Kashyap Muni. Kashyap Muni, actually, at the time, he wanted to postpone, like he like that muhurta is not good, so therefore he spoke elaborately for some time. But like acharyas have explained that if Kashyapa would have become angry immediately, the Diti would have become she would have become calm. But Kashyapa did not become angry, but just persuaded her with some soft words. So he glorifies, like he says that certainly your request is very dharmic to have children, and I should fulfill your desires as a wife. And through wife only, all the artha, dharma, and kama will be attained in this world. And even that, like for a grihastha, wife is compared like a boat. It's like the boat, and she's also like a fort who can protect him from further, who can protect him from all the other deviations. So, and wife is also called as half of the husband. So therefore, certainly it is a very I should always try to repay for all the services you are doing. So, but you just wait for proper time. because evening time is not good, because at this point of time, Lord Shiva, he moves. And he is very, very powerful, and no one can estimate the power of him. And he moves along with his associates, ghosts, and all other beings. He travels in bull, and he is very, very powerful. He is the one who is like who performs woes which are very, very difficult. And no one is dear to him, and no one he does not hate anyone. But he is like, so like he is the one who is like he is one of the controller of this world. And he sometimes, like, he may behave very oddly, like sometimes he may laugh, he may reside in smashana, and he may uh, like decorate his body with garlands of skeletons, etc. But it's like only unintelligent people neglect him. But Brahmaji and others, great personalities, they always respect him. So therefore, one should not think him as an ordinary person. So one should be fearing him. So therefore, don't behave like this at this point of time. So like that, he was giving so many reasons. But Diti, she became like without any shame, and she started pulling Kashyapa Muni through his cloth. So one thing is that when lust is there, so that time the shame will go away. So that is one lesson here that through Diti one can learn. So she, like Kashyap Muni understood that she was adamant. So they united, and after that Kashyap Muni, he bathed and he sat to chant Gayatri mantra. So Diti, she became very ashamed of her action, and she started repenting. So she was very much fearful of Rudra, because he may become upset. So therefore, immediately she approached Kashyap Muni and uh, started speaking that, may Lord Rudra, he should not become angry with me, and he should not kill my child. I offer respects to Rudra, who is very merciful, and as well as very fierce, and who is like very easily pleased and very easily also uh, becomes angry. So let him be pleased. He is my brother-in-law only, because one of the Diti, Diti's sister is Sati. Sati is got married to Daksha. Oh, sorry, Sati got married to Shiva. So therefore, he is my brother-in-law. So he is merciful even to the hunters, and he is also master of women. So like all women worship him to get nice benedictions. So let him be pleased with me. So like that, he started praying to Lord Shiva. So Kashyap Muni, he replied that actually everything has become inauspicious, because you have not controlled your mind, and you have disregard for my instructions, and you have neglected, even you have disregarded Lord Shiva. So therefore, because of your act, so there will be two sons will be born to you, who are like very, very very contemptuous. That means they will always be angry, and they will create inauspicious for the world. So they will be demons basically, and they will be very much creating disturbance to the world. And these two sons will be killed by the Supreme Lord only, for the benefit of the world. So Lord will appear and he will kill them. So like that, Kashyap Muni mentions. So Diti here, she expresses that, oh, my two sons are at least are getting killed by the Supreme Lord. So therefore, I am happy, and they are not being killed by a curse of a Brahmana. So therefore, I am at least happy. Otherwise, if they die on the wrath of a Brahmana, So they will go to hell and they will suffer like anything. Therefore, at least they are killed by the Supreme Lord. So then Kashyap Muni says that, so you have, after doing some mistake, you repented, and you also offered your respects for the Lord, and also you offered, because by you expressed your happiness that they are killed by the Lord, and you also glorified Shiva, and you have respect for me. So therefore, you will have some concession. What is that concession? One of your grandson will be a great devotee. So Prahlad Maharaj, he was glorifying about Prahlad, that person, because you have, because so whenever like Prahlad will become a great devotee, like that he glorifies qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. So whenever someone performs some mistake, there will be consequences. And when he rectifies repentance, there will be some concessions. Good thing will happen. So that's what he is saying, that Prahlad will become a great devotee, and his fame will be equal to the of the Lord. And devotees always like try to attain the qualities like Prahlad Maharaj. They try to imitate, or they try to emulate his qualities. That's how his great qualities are exhibited. And the whole world, they will be very much pleased with Prahlad Maharaj, because he pleases the Supreme Lord. So this is one more concept, that like whenever someone pleases the Supreme Lord, the whole world will be pleased with them. So because Prahlad is always remembering the Lord, pleasing the Lord, the whole world will be pleased with him. And he will be a Mahabhagavata, and he is a great soul, Mahatma. And he, with his determination, he pleases the Lord, and he will enter Vaikuntha by his bhakti after giving up this world. And he has lot of qualities, good qualities, like he doesn't have any greed, is a source of all good qualities. And he will see, whenever he sees others prosperity, he will be joyful. And whenever he sees someone else suffering, he feels that suffering, and he will have no enemy. For him there are no enemy, and he will deliver the whole world from sorrow. So just like moon, when he appears in the heat, in the summer heat, it will give a lot of relief. Similarly, his qualities will give relief for everyone. And he will be able to see the Supreme Lord internally in his heart, and externally also. And he, in this way, he is completely absorbed in the Lord. In this way, he glorifies the qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. So I think last week we have celebrated Narsim Chaturdashi. The Narsim Dev pastime, whenever we discuss Narsim Dev pastime, we always glorify Prahlad Maharaj, because of whom Narsim Dev appeared. So in this way, this connected. So Diti, when she heard about a great devotee will be born, she becomes very much pleased, and at least she also become little bit satisfied that her sons will be killed by the Supreme Lord, because even the killing by the Supreme Lord will award liberation. So therefore she became satisfied. In this way, the background, that how Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were born, that is mentioned. Now their further background, like they are Jaivi and Vijay, how they were caused by 4 Kumaras. So that is described in this chapter, we'll see. So Diti, she became very afraid that Diti became pregnant after some time, and there are like a lot of disturbances started coming. So she did, like, that fearing that uh, her sons will be killed by the Lord. Diti hold her sons in the womb only for 100 years. So because of that, darkness spread in all directions, and everyone became afraid. What is this darkness? We are not able to do anything. So even Devatas lost their powers and they approached Brahmaji. So about what to do. And they requested that this darkness is because of this darkness we are kind of not able to perform anything. Please rectify the situation. So when Brahmaji heard this, when Brahmaji heard this glorification of him, they glorifies Brahmaji that you have appeared from the Lord and has created this whole world. You know the intentions of everyone. You are beyond the influence of time. Please explain the cause of this thing. So Brahmaji, he started speaking that. So he started speaking that in order to narrate why these things have appeared. So he started narrating about the one incident that happened previously. So in the Vaikunta. So Brahmaji, he knows the past background, that how they were like how two demons were born, and he cannot immediately rectify the situation, right? So in although he knows that he cannot rectify the situation, he started engaging, he started speaking about Vaikunta. So very beautiful description will come here about the characteristics of Vaikunta, because currently they cannot do anything unless the Lord comes and saves them. So he is speaking to Devatas about Krishna Kada, Vaikunta description, so that they all will know the glories of Vaikunta. They engage in the remembering the Lord. So therefore he elaborates the description of Vaikunta here by narrating, by taking the clue of narrating the incident. So once the four Kumaras, who are like sons of Brahma, they approached Vaikunta, and they traveled in the they traveled through that Vaikunta gates, and while traveling through that Vaikunta, they have observed that Vaikunta. And what is that Vaikunta? How it is situated? That is kind of elaborated by Brahmaji. So in Vaikunta, first he narrates about how Vaikunta men, how they are situated. So all the men in the Vaikunta, they have forms similar to the Supreme Lord. And they always, the nature of the Vaikunta, that means they all have four-handed form, carrying the weapons similar to the Supreme Lord. And their nature is that they always worship the Supreme Lord without any motivations. So that is, they are completely absorbed in the Supreme Lord, and they look similar to the Supreme Lord. So that is about Vaikunta men, how Purusha in the Vaikunta they reside. And in the Vaikunta, the Supreme Lord, he exists, and he is like, his body is like Shuddha Sattva, pure Sattva, any without any contamination of Rajogunas and Tamoguna, pure Sattva is situated. And he always gives pleasure to his devotees. So the activity of the Lord in Vaikuntha is he always bestows pleasure. He always relishes the association with his devotees. And in Vaikuntha, there is a forest called Naishreyasa. It is always auspicious. And that forest is filled with beautiful desire trees, Kalpatara, Kalpa Vriksha. And these forest trees, they always fulfill the desires of everyone. So, and all these trees, they are also persons there. We hear Brahma Samhita. Brahma Samhita says that Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu Kalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhi Ravi Palayantam. So in Vaikunta, Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu, all the stones, they are Chintamani jewels. That means they can produce anything from those jewels, from those rocks. Kalpa Vriksha, all the trees in the Vaikunta, they are like Kalpa Vriksha. They can fulfill all the desires, whatever they desire, they can fulfill. And Chintamani Prakrasadmushu Kalpavriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhiravi Palayantam. So this is in Brahma Samhita, there is a glorification of Krishna, so which will apply to all other planets also, Vaikuntha. So there lot like Surabhiravi Palayantam, lot of cows, they are always worshipping the Lord. And he is also surrounded by so many Lakshmis who are always serving. To that Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajam, to that Lord I will worship, like that. So in Vaikuntha, all these trees are always fulfilling everyone's desires. And there is a mention of how Vaikuntha couples, husband and wife in Vaikuntha, how they reside. So the Vaimanikashta Lalanas Charitani Shashvan. So they always travel in Vimanas. So there is a lot of luxury in Vaikuntha. But they are always engaged in glorifying constantly singing the glories of the Lord, who doesn't have any faults. And while doing that, when their mind gets sometimes distracted by the nice smell that is coming from the nearby lake, from the flowers, but still they don't mind those. They will not get distracted by those nice smells, but they continue to glorify. And in fact, they don't appreciate that distraction coming from nice smell, because they are so much wanted to always glorify the Supreme Lord. So that means the activity of Vaikuntha is mainly to like they derive so much pleasure in glorifying the Lord and derive so much pleasure in remembering the Lord. So that's what they do while traveling in airplanes. And there is a description of Vaikuntha birds and flowers. So Vaikuntha birds, there are so many wonderful words are there. Paravatanya Vritasara Chakravakam Datyu Saham Sachakatirivarhinamya Kolahalo Viramate Chiramatramuchay Brungadipe Harikadamiva Gayamane. So all these nice birds are there. Paravata, like Pigeon, Hamsa, Chakravaka, swans, parrots, etc., peacocks. So they are all very beautiful birds. Some of the birds are beauty, some of the birds are very nicely sing. So like that they all have. But there is also Brunga. Brunga means bee. So bee, he also wants to like bee. He also makes sound, and that humming sound of the bee, like it's like it sounds like Hari Hari. He's like kind of glorifying the Lord. So hearing that all other birds or even bee is glorifying the Lord, so therefore we will become silent and we will hear the bee song. So like that, Vaikuntha birds behave. So that means like any of the birds, if they hear the glorification of the Lord from even the other birds, they are very eager to hear. So how much like in this way they are behaving. And there are so many wonderful flowers that are existing in Vaikuntha. Mandara Kunda Kurabo Palachampakandam Punnaga Naga Bakulam Bujapari Jatam Gande Chite Tulasika Bharani Tasya Esmin Tapasumuso Bahumanayanti. There are nice flowers like Mandara, Kunda, Kuraba, Utpala, Champakanda. All these flowers, so they are very nicely giving fragrance, Parijata flower. So their fragrance is very famous, very nice. But still, they know the glories of Tulsi leaf. Tulsi leaf, if we generally see it, for us, we cannot generally we cannot the smell. We cannot smell it, but only the like I mentioned that the spiritually advanced persons, they derive a lot of pleasure in Tulsi leaves. So, but all these flowers, they know the glories of Tulasi. So, therefore, when uh, Tulasi is offered to the Lord, they they give a lot of respect to even Tulasi, because they know that Tulasi has performed a lot of austerities to achieve that great position of always residing in the lotus feet of the Lord. And in fact, they say that, oh, Tulasi has performed so much austerities, and she may have performed a lot of austerity in Bharatavarsha. So please let me know how what austerities you did. So we will also go to Bharatavarsha and perform the same austerities, so that we can achieve the same position as you. So this shows that even the inhabitants of Vaikunta, they want they want to come to Bharatavarsha and perform austerities to achieve the position in serving the Lord. So that means the glories of Bharatavarsha is also implied here. So here, so that's why, like basically the Bharatavarsha, why it is glorified is one can perform devotional service and achieve the things which are even difficult for other people. So that's why it is wonderful. So Prabhupada always says that, like, people who are born in Bharatvarsha, they should preach this worship to all over the world. So in fifth canto also there is some glories of Bharatvarsha will come, where even the denizens of heaven, they will also wanted a place in Bharatvarsha, so that they can perfect their life by achieving devotional service. So that's why even Prabhupada, therefore, from Bharatvarsha, he went to other places to give the uh, devotional service to all other people, so that they can attain perfection. So that those are implied here. Acharya's comments, that glorification. And then, like the people in that Vaikunta, one main thing is, although there is ample opportunity to enjoy senses, but they are fully absorbed in Krishna Kada. They move in airplanes, uh, like they 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 move in Vaikunta with airplanes made of gold, Vaidurya, and emeralds, which are like they have attained by, because they worship the Lord. They are attained all these wonderful gifts, but still they are always absorbed in Krishna. So therefore, they will never get agitated by any things like passion and other things. So Krishnatmanam na raja adadur utsmayadye. So they are not, because they are always completely absorbed in Krishna or Vishnu. So all the passion and everything, they will never get contaminated by. So that is one more description has come. And the Lakshmi, Vaikunta woman, Lakshmi, they, like Vaikunta women are as beautiful as Lakshmi, and all of them, they are always seen that they have always want to achieve the favor of the Lord. So therefore, even the, like the even the surroundings, they are very beautiful. Still, they engage themselves in try to clean that place so that it will shine. So in this way, they endeavor in so many ways to attain the favor of the Lord. And the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, so she worships the Lord using tulsi leaves, and she like kind of sees her reflection in the water, and she considers herself very fortunate. So in this way, the activities of Vaikuntha Vasis are mentioned. But Brahmaji, at this point, he says that who can enter Vaikuntha and who cannot enter Vaikuntha. So that also he mentions that, but in general, people are not interested in descriptions of Vaikuntha and about the Supreme Lord. So because of this unfortunate situation, people who doesn't have any respect for Vaikuntha, these people, they cannot attain the Supreme Lord. So this human form of life, it is even desired by even the Devatas, because in this human form of life in Bharatvarsha, uh, they, uh, they will be able to perfect their life by worshipping the Supreme Lord. But still, they don't. If some people doesn't worship the Lord, they cannot attain this perfection. But one who is uh, always engaging in hearing about the Lord, and who are always performing devotional service, who experiences different rasas when they hear about the Lord, these people will be able to enter Vaikuntha. So people who have developed prema by performing devotional service and always hearing and glorifying the Lord, they will be able to attain the Supreme Lord. So in this way, Brahmaji, he narrates the description of Vaikuntha. So after, in this way, the Kumaras have seen that Vaikuntha, and they attained a lot of pleasure in seeing that wonderful Vaikuntha, and they experience a lot of bliss. So in this way, they pass through 6 gates of Vaikuntha, and they have, like they saw, they at the 7th gate they have come, and there the gatekeepers Jay and Vijay, so they were looking similar to the Lord and holding clubs and other garlands, and they were, but there it is mentioned that they were little bit angry. Their faces were slightly agitated with anger, and they frowned their eyebrows. So it looks like little bit they became angry, and they are heavily breathing, nostrils and with red eyes. So the sages, like they obstructed the sages. So then generally these 4 Kumaras, they are like, they always remain in the 4 years, like in that child age only, and their description comes that they are dressed in Vata Vasana, means they are dressed in 4 directions. That means basically they are not dressed, and they always look like very, very young, the children. So, like if you like, so they were they coming these, like they look like children appearing like very, very young. They are coming to Vaikuntha, seeing that the Jaya and Viday, they stopped. So generally these sages, they were unobstructed anywhere. They would wander anywhere, but they they were like when they were stopped by these uh, these gatekeepers, they became like they were like kind of became angry. It was mentioned that these two, Jay and Vijay, they kind of acted against the nature of the Lord, and they should not have done this. But understanding the power of the Lord, but they understanding the nature of these Brahman Leelas, Jnanis, but ignoring their great power, they behaved, which are like they behaved like against the nature of the Lord. So in this way they obstructed. So when the Jaya and Vijay, when they were obstructed, so they became angry and they started to speak. Generally, like when someone, uh, when children are stopped, then they cry. But because these are like not ordinary children, they curse. Mhm. So they were started thinking about themselves that how these how you people, like these two people, they are having some mentality which is like opposite to the nature of the Lord. So generally Lord is very affectionate, and the Lord is peaceful. He doesn't have any fighting nature. But you must be apostates here. because you must be cheaters. Therefore, you are thinking that everyone others like you, like cheaters. Therefore, you are mistrusting others. And generally, the people, the great personalities, they don't distinguish everyone like jnanis. They don't see anyone as different from the Lord in Vaikuntha. They see everyone as an expansion of the Lord. And this Lord, uh, why these people has to fear about anyone in this Vaikuntha? Who can enter Vaikuntha without the permission of the Lord? So why you are fearing so much about the safety of the Lord? And like the looks like these are like dull servants, and we should think some way how these dull servants can become benefited. Maybe because they are unfit for this Vaikuntha, so therefore this maybe you should go away from this Vaikuntha to material world, where in this material world there are three sinful enemies always exist. So sinful enemies of this material world is lust, anger, and greed. So like Kumaras while saying that, that means in this material world, people who are like the characteristic of this material world is like there are like enemies in the form of lust, anger, and greed. Everyone is afflicted by this. So that's why they are in this material world. That is also implied. So in this way, they kind of cursed. So, so they kind of cursed that they should go to material world. So that is like a curse. So Jay and Vijay, when they understood that they were being cursed by four Kumaras, immediately they they get afraid that how will the Lord will feel. They greatly afraid of the Lord. Immediately fell down at the feet of Kumaras, and they became very much distressed because Lord may become very much displeased with their behavior. Lord, if they come to know that like Lord, we have offended the Lord because like we have like we may have acted against the will of the Lord. So therefore they became distressed. And also they became distressed that now they will be separated from the Lord. So immediately they fell at the feet of the four Kumaras, and they prayed that you have cursed us, let that curse be become true. But only our repentance is that uh, that we should never lose the memory of the Lord. So even though when we go to Vaikuntha, so therefore because they are devotees of the Lord, they don't want to miss the opportunity of remembering the Lord. Therefore, we should always remember the Lord. So like that, they asked some benediction by falling at their feet. So the Kumaras, so at that point of time, they started wondering, oh, actually these two are devotees. They have exhibited humility. So maybe we have unnecessarily cursed these two offenseless devotees of the Lord. So in this way, some repentance came to the heart of even Kumaras also. So, so in this way, both parties, they are begging forgiveness from each other. So that humility has arrived in both the Kumaras as well as the Jay and Vijay. And humility is the ground for devotion. So as soon as humility has arrived in both of them, so the Lord, in order to rectify the situation, so because the situation has arrived because of the both of them, they are thinking, both of them are like uh, both of them are like initially they are angry with each other, but now they both asking kind of both became repentance. So because that humility, Lord want to rectify that situation. Whenever humility appears, the bhakti will come. So therefore, that time Lord will appear. So in order to rectify the situation, the Lord has come there along with Lakshmi. So the Lord, like very, very beautiful, understanding that his servants have offended Kumaras, he came to that seventh gate along with Lakshmi. And the sages at this point of time, they saw the beauty of the Lord. So previously they were meditating on the Lord, he was object of their meditation. Now they have seen the Lord directly in front of them. So while the Lord is coming, two chamaras were moving on the both of his side. So the movement of those chamaras are like fans, and above him is a white umbrella carrying him, which is like pearl, which is having pearl stands in that umbrella, and the water is dipping from those pearl. So they are look like very, very beautiful because it looks like some arati is going on. So because like some nice chamaras are waving and nice ornaments is decorated. So all these decorations, they are like very, very beautiful. So the umbrella is looking like a moon. Chamaras are like looking like a swans, and pleasant wind is coming from the water of this umbrella. So in this way, the scene is very beautiful, and the beauty of the Lord is also described, that his face is always pleased, and he is most desirable object for everyone, and he touched the hearts of everyone with his glances, and he has Srivatsa mark on his chest, and he was dressed in yellow cloth, shining belt is there, and a nice garland was he was having, which was surrounded by bees, and he has golden ornaments on his wrists, and he was on the he was resting his hand on shoulder of Garuda, and on his right hand he was twirling a lotus. He has nice Makara Kundala, nice high nose, jeweled kirita, and nice attractive Kaustubamani is there. And Lakshmi, he, she in Vaikunta, it is mentioned that the beauty of Vishnu, it surpasses even the beauty of Lakshmi. So, and he was he was worshipped by great personalities like Lord Shiva. Seeing this form of the Lord, the Kumaras became very much satisfied. So here in Vaikunta, like Prabhupada, like it is mentioned that Lord is more beautiful than even Lakshmi, and seeing that beauty for Kumaras, they became very much happy. And in like Acharya, like Prabhupada and others, they mentions that in Vaikunta, Vishnu is more beautiful than Lakshmi, but in Goloka, like people are like Golokavasi, Brajavasis, they would like to see Radharani more beautiful than Krishna. So that comparison is given by Acharyas. So one particular incident, with this we will conclude. Nice shloka will come. So this is nice shloka. When the Kumaras, they smelled the lotus fragrance coming from the lotus feet of the Lord, which is mixed with tulsi. Tasyaravindanayanasya padarvinda kinjalkamishra tulsi makaranda vayu antargatasva vivareణ chakaratesham sanక్షోభమక్షరजुషాం apichittatango tasyaravindanayasya padaravinda. So that Aravindanayasya, the Lord is having beautiful lotus eyes, and he has also beautiful lotus feet, Padaravinda. So through that, there is nice smell is coming from his lotus feet, which is having tulasi is offered to his lotus feet, and that vayu, that nice smell has entered into the nostrils of these Kumaras. So when it entered into their nostrils, although they are Akshara Jusham, although they are meditating on Brahman platform, who are like Lord's effulgence, which is Brahman platform, Brahman, which gives a lot of happiness, Brahmananda. Still, when they saw the personal form of the Lord, it agitated their chitta. They became agitated. So that means they have moved from Brahman platform into devotional platform. This shows that the Bhaktiyananda is higher even than the Brahmananda. So Jnanis, four Kumaras are compared to Jnanis. They are like Jnanis. So Jnanis are also, when they see the form of the Lord, they became devotees. In this way, they attained meditation on the Lord's personal feature. So this clearly shows that personal form of the Lord is even more greater than the impersonal form of the Lord. And bhaktas are even higher than the jnanis. So this is a clear example. That's what it is mentioned here. So seeing the wonderful, beautiful form of the Lord, Kumara starts glorifying the Lord, and how Lord speaks to Kumaras and what happened to Jay and Vijay, that we will discuss in the next time. I'll stop here.
Sure, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's a nice example you have given, basically telling about pastimes of Vaikuntha and pastimes of Supreme Lord. Whoever has interest to listen to that, they attain moksha. The chances of attaining moksha is very nice to basically we all been generally with all in this sinful world, basically we always engage in what you call in our day-to-day activities with all our sense gratification. We always forget to, we don't have desire to listen to Lord's pastimes and as well as Vaikuntha pastimes. So getting that desire to listen, it itself is a path for moksha. Going Vaikuntha. So thank you very much.
It's a wonderful lesson. Yeah.
And all six forms of six avatars of Jaya and Vijaya are killed by Supreme Lord. All of them.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All of them.
All of them killed by Supreme. Yeah.
Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha was killed by Varahadev. Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narsimhadev. Ravana and Kumbhakarna were killed by Ram and Shishupal and then Krishna.
Yeah.
Good work.
Correct.
Thank you, Prabhu. That's a great lesson. We always, when we hear Krishna Katha again and again, especially these beautiful descriptions of Vaikuntha and his incarnations, slowly love will start coming. That will make it eligible.
That's right.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Very good meat out of this.
So we'll continue our description.
Sure.
Srimad Bhagavatam Canto.
Right.
Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.